right here at Jason Aldeans in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, y'all.
Yeah.
And this is our first live show, and I have Ciara Rae joining me today. She is my first guest, y'all. Welcome, Ciara. All right,
Hey.
Ciara. Hello. So, guys, I have to tell you guys why I selected Ciara as my first guest down here in Nashville. It's because I met Ciara at a T-Mobile store when I worked at West End.
Yep.
And it's so crazy to know that our meeting, and now we have her, our little Nashville star right here, Ciara.
Trying.
So tell me, Ciara, and our listeners, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am from the lovely South Florida, which usually when I'm at shows and I say that, people don't really cheer that much, you know? Did you ever see there was like a NBA finals thing and they said like, who here is for Florida, and the whole country was a different color? It's like, all right, we're outliers.
I love Florida.
Thank
the
you.
Beaches.
Thank you, yes.
I'm a beach water girl, so I get it. I love it.
Yeah, man, and Michael Ray is from there, and Love and Depth is from there.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I ended up moving here about 4 years ago, and that was when I met you.
Yeah.
And you and your family became my actual first friends in Nashville, which is kind of crazy.
She has a cute family too, y'all. I'm telling you, sweetest people ever. And I had to introduce her. I said, you have got to meet my daughter. They're like similar ages. They have similar backgrounds. So anyway.
And now you've been friends for 4 years.
I know. 4 years. It's been 4 years? Wow. So Miss Ciara, y'all, has got a new song, and that's why we have her here today. Tell us the name of the song. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's Heartbreak Mistake, and I did the song with Nolan Neal. A lot of people know him from The Voice.
Yes.
He's got an incredible voice, and he's a great writer and producer, and we become really good friends, and we wrote it about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Crazy enough, I didn't tell you this before. We met at the Fort Lauderdale airport.
Really?
I was sitting outside the airport, and I saw him walk in, and if anybody has seen him before, he looks like a musician.
He does. He
Like, you
so
know,
does.
when he walked in, and he dropped something, like his suitcase fell or something happened, and I looked over and I went, you look like you're from Nashville. And he goes, actually I am. And then we ended up becoming friends
and just
years later, and then we wrote this song, and we wrote this song. We wanted to write from a female's perspective about a one-night stand, because I feel like that's kind of frowned upon in the stereotypes of the world. And we wanted to write a sexy version of a woman's idea of a one-night stand with heartbreak, and then we came up with Heartbreak Mistake, and it's been like one of my more successful songs I've ever released, and it's one of my favorites, and I'm really proud of it. So,
well, I love some girl power songs, and we definitely
I got enough of those.
Sure, this world is a changing, and I love it. So, tell me now, when you're singing and you're collaborating and writing, I do know you went to the Writers Round down in Key West. I say Writers Round. I don't know if I'm even saying it right, but anyway. When you guys
They're all
go
Writers
down
Round,
there,
so yeah.
they are, which are my favorite little venues. Those are my favorite venues.
It's awesome.
So when you go down there and you're kind of soaking yourself in that atmosphere, and when you're writing, like you were telling me about writing, tell our listeners a little bit about like your process of it, and kind of like, do you write from like things that have happened in your life, or tell me a little bit about your process on that.
Well, as far as Key West, I always say it's Nashville spring break. Everybody's drinking, meeting new people, having fun. It's one of my favorite times of the year. And every time I meet someone from out of town, and like they say, have you been to the Keys? And I tell them they have to go at that time of year.
Yeah.
But and one of the places that booked me was the Perry Key West. They booked me for residency last year, and I got to bring people, and we had a lot of fun. And then Smokehouse Barbecue, McReed. It's the best barbecue I have ever had.
I love barbecue. This girl
in
can
my
eat,
life.
y'all.
I will vouch for them till the day I die. So I go there. I always go there to eat. We're working on maybe me playing some shows there, but it's just a fun family thing. Everybody should go there. But a lot of the songs that I write that I bring there, I just honestly, I like listening to people, and I like writing about stories, and sometimes my stories aren't always going to be relatable to everybody else. So, you know, I'll listen to like something you tell me, and if it's something I relate to, or in some point in my life, I'll write about that the best I can, almost like acting, like put yourself in that headspace.
Right.
And everything I write is honest and something I stand behind, but I'll write from different perspectives. And that's why if you ever listen to my music, I'm all over the map with stories.
Well, I love your music. I've listened to you. I of course follow you, and I'm curious and just to share with our listeners and tell them about like kind of like who inspired you? Like who inspires you, and what kind of style of music do you kind of lean towards?
Well, my music, I've said before, is it's definitely a fusion of what I grew up on. And I grew up listening to soul music and Motown, and I grew up listening to a lot of country music, and my dad loved Garth
You're
Brooks.
gonna say that's your parents
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. So it was definitely just a fusion of, what I know.
Collaboration of all that you grew up listening to.
And I would say, a lot of people don't know that when I first went to school for undergrad, you could either study, a lot of the schools were either classical or jazz. So I studied jazz for a long time, and for whatever reason, she just always stuck with me. Ella Fitzgerald was a big inspiration to me because I felt like she respected her voice as an instrument. Because, there's the stereotype of we're the musicians and you're the singers, and she always really stuck to the voice being an instrument, and she studied it and she mastered it. If you ever listen to her old YouTube videos and recordings they have and they've uploaded of her, she's just like the pinnacle of somebody that's mastered her vocals.
I love her music too, and I love the inspiration. Like today, so obviously our theme today, y'all, is girl power, and I'm all about some girl power. So we are gonna listen to
Heartbreak Mistake.
Heartbreak Mistake, y'all. Let's give a listen. Guys, you have heard Heartbreak Mistake with Miss Ciara Rae. We have her live here, so follow her. Where at?
You can follow me. You can look up Ciara Rae or Ciara Rae Music. Anywhere online, and you should be able to find all my music as long as I'm doing my job right.
Awesome. Well, you guys can follow her and find out where she'll be playing next. I can't even talk today, y'all. So what is coming up for you? What's next?
I just released a music video for one of the songs off my EP, In Love, Lonely, or Just Drunk, and we actually filmed it in all of these Broadway bars that are behind us, and it was a lot of fun. It's from the perspective of my character, me, who is upset because the guy I'm dating hasn't answered my text or phone call, so I
Which
decided
happens
to go
all
out.
the time, y'all. How many of you been ghosted?
And we go out on the town, and I decide to show through my Instagram feed how great of a time I am having.
Which
and
I know we all relate to that as being a girl or in any relationship.
Not at all inspired by true stories. But.
Okay, well, you guys, thank you, Ciara, for being here.
Yeah,
thank you guys for listening, and we want to give a shout out to our military and thank you for their service. And you've heard it live here at Jason Aldeans.